Governor Moino mourns demise of DC Etop Andrew of Nigeria Customs, says it's monumental loss to Nigeria. July edition of prayer meeting, wife of governor tasked women on unity. Public secondary schools in Akwa Ibom get coconut seedlings for schools plantation. Plus, federal government set to restock national strategic food reserve system. Details of these and other stories in a moment. A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on the news at 8. I am Uyoko Uswa. We'll begin with the national scene where Chinese leader President Xi Jinping had invited President Bola Tinubu to pay a state visit to China in September. China's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs Chen Xiaodong delivered the invitation to President Tinubu at the Aso Villa Thursday. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, made this via his official X handle today. According to the statement, Tinubu has accepted the invitation and hoped that it would strengthen Nigeria's China bilateral relations and the proposed currency swap agreement. The statement also indicated that President Xi would also welcome First Lady Remi Tinubu during the visit. And back home, the remains of the Deputy Comptroller of the Nigeria Customs, DC Etop Andrew, who collapsed and passed on while presenting a report to the House Committee on Public Accounts at the National Assembly, have been laid to rest. The state governor, Pastor Umoino, who was accompanied to the funeral by members of the State Executive Council, described the demise of the late DC Andrew as a great loss to Akwa Ibom and Nigeria at large. According to Tabima Okun, the funeral held at the deceased hometown, Ikorinyangeti, in Nsarubium.
Pastor, on behalf of the government and the people of the state, expressed his deepest condolence on the unfortunate passing away of DC Etop Andrew. He encouraged them to be comforted and consoled by the fact that their late father was a devout Christian, a kindred and patriotic Nigeria who served the Nigeria Customs Service diligently, while describing his death as painful.
The late Andrew Essien was an illustrious son of our dear state, a kindred from my local government area of Nserubio, and a Nigerian patron who represented the true essence of a consummate and conscientious public servant. He served Nigeria through the Nigerian Customs Service diligently and transparently, and his sudden and sad passing is deeply painful. May God grant our departed brother eternal rest, even as he consoles the family. Thank
The biography read by the daughter of the deceased, Miss Emmanuela Etop, described our late father as a committed Christian, a loving, caring, hardworking, warm-hearted personalities that will greatly be missed.
He played an active role in fundraising and resolving challenges affecting the community. He was an advocate for good governance in his community.
The Deputy Comptroller General G.A. Itoho presented a letter of condolence on behalf of the Comptroller General, Nigerian Customs Service, C.G. Bashir Adeyin.
While DC Etop Essien was in the Nigerian Customs Service, he held important positions both in general duties and the account sections of the service. His rich experience and expertise in accounts and reconciliation of records was impressive and commendable. He represented the country and the service in some international meetings and conferences where his contribution brought honor not only to the Nigerian Customs Service, but to the nation at large. He will be missed by the Nigerian Customs Service. We pay tribute and celebrate life that was well lived, and above all, that was dedicated to service and family.
Otabi Mokun, AKBC News.
Akwa Ibom State government has augmented the 24,000 bags of rice donated to the state by the federal government with additional 24,000 bags. Governor Moino made this known during a meeting with chairmen of transition committees in the state, where he directed the sharing of the rice palliatives to all the gazetted villages in the state before Tuesday next week. Our government house reporter, Patience John, says the distribution has already commenced.
Addressing chairman of transition committees in the state at the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, the governor said each gazetted village in the state, totaling 2,272, is entitled to 20 bags of 25 kg of rice. Governor warned against sharp practices and delay in the distribution process.
We received palliatives, 24,000 bags of 25 kg rice from the federal government. We have augmented it, same thing, so we have 48,000 bags now. We are sending them to you, to your local government, based on the number of gazetted villages, and he has it 2,272. Those are gazetted villages that the state has. By our calculation, each village will have 20 bags. So they will check and deliver. But please, we have to ensure that we finish sending these things to the various villages. Please, by Monday, let's finish distribution. By Tuesday, I'd like to have a report that this matter is done and dusted.
On the winding down of local government transition committees in the state, the governor advised those not returning to be good party members and support the incoming, promising that his administration will not leave them behind.
I know that some of you will not be returning as elected chairman, but let me assure each and every one of you that you will not be left behind. So for those of you not returning, don't make a fuss about it. It is God that does these things. But don't worry, we will try and still accommodate those that are ours. Please support the elections as we start from the ward, we build up to the chapter, then we'll go to the main AKBC election. Do your best to support those that are coming in. Don't show them attitude. We are still within the party. It is, I don't know, we don't know where God is taking you to. May not favor you. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. God has our future in his hands. But for the remaining days of work, put in your best, because we are watching.
Patience John, AKBC News.
Women in Akwa Ibom State have been enjoined to continue to live in love, unity and harmony to ensure collective progress while eschewing actions that could fan the embers of discord. Wife of the governor, Pastor Patience Omoino, gave the admonition at the July edition of the Akwa Ibom Women Monthly Prayer. Utabe Maokon says the convoyage had the theme My Season of Remembrance and held at the Government House Banquet Hall, Uyo.
Represented by the Deputy Governor, Senator Akone Yaranyi, Pastor Patience Eno spoke of the forthcoming local government elections, urging women in the state not to fight over political positions, but be patient as opportunities will unfold for everyone someday. She assured them that Governor Moeno, who she described as a gender-friendly governor, has given opportunities to many women to serve in public offices and will continue to reward those who have contributed to the success of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the state.
She's interested in our standing together. The women of Akwa Ibom State. That's a concern. Yes. That we will work together. One spirit, in unity, one purpose. And that has to do with ensuring that our husbands, our brothers, our children are in good shape. Spiritually,
In an exhortation on the theme, My Season of Remembrance, Pastor Afiongebong told the women that men may forget deliberately or by default, but God never forgets or disappoints. Drawing our text from Nehemiah 13 verse 14, Pastor Ebong reiterated that when God remembers a man, he gives divine instructions, breaks protocols, brings help their way, takes away shame and reproach, show mercy, open doors of favor, compels men to help and changes one's name and status.
He does not forget like women. He does not forget like the woman will forget. But today, God, when we talk of forgetfulness in relation to God, God operates in times and seasons.
The service featured Thanksgiving sessions by members of the Iban-Pichin Umoina group, and July celebrators who rendered hymns of thanksgiving and presented a gift to the women's prayer team. AKBC News.
Public secondary schools in the 3 senatorial districts of the state have received coconut seedlings to plant in schools' premises. The seedlings were distributed by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Eyano Paul reports that the event held at Community Secondary School Ikorokubo Fort Uyo.
Addressing the principal generals of the different secondary schools who came for the event, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Fiongofo, said the state government is giving them the seedlings to plant in their schools because of the economic importance of coconut. Dr. Fo said Governor Moino harps on Back to Farm initiative to ensure food sufficiency in the state, describing agriculture as the future of any nation. The commissioner appealed to agri-teachers to ensure that students are deeply involved in agriculture, adding that the ministry will give prizes to the best 3 schools that will have the best farms in the 3 senatorial districts.
Since the beginning of this planting season in March, we've been going around public schools, primary and secondary, sharing agricultural inputs. And we intend to reach as many public schools as we can reach. It's important that we inculcate in our students the love for agriculture. So we start from the primary to the secondary level to the tertiary level to inculcate in our students the love for agriculture. Why are we doing this? It's important that we are able to do things that we can feed ourselves. And His Excellency has said we should go back to the farm.
The Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Mary Koite Basi, commended principals for their passion for agricultural development in secondary schools. She warned them not to sell the inputs provided them by the state government.
Please, when you take this coconut back, plant it in the school. The coconut is growing. You see the good work of our dear governor.
The principal of Community Secondary School Ikorokubo Fort in Obong Ikbe, PTA chairman of the school, Barrister Samuel Nyahudo, and a representative of another school, Nsikarabas UM, thanked the state government for the gesture, promising to make good use of the seedlings.
I also want to thank our own people's governor, who has made agriculture and education a priority in his Arise Agenda program. And he's not only talking, he's a talk and do.
Of course, you all agree with me that coconut is not only for domestic use. Coconut is used internationally. It's a base for our finances.
And I want to assure you that
the harvest will be great. We are indeed very grateful. We want to extend our gratitude to the governor for what he has done.
Eyageno Paul, AKBC News.
Still to come, Destiny Hills International Schools are back, rounds of school year. Federal government sets to restock National Strategic Food Reserve System. These and more when we return.
This is our home, where we all belong. The place where life is beautiful. The peaceful ambience we enjoy when we live together in unity and love. It's on him and you know, we go stand together, we go make them better. We be brothers and sisters, no matter where we be. It's on him and you know. No matter where we be, we are one. Let's live together in peace and harmony.
It's so good to have you back. If you're just joining us, this is AKBC 45 News at 8. Moving on to other stories now. In a bid to boost economic development, the member representing Nseretai State constituency in the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Prince Aniefio, has presented a check of 1 million naira each to women of AKBC Nseretai Multipurpose Cooperative Society. This cuts across the 10 wards of Nseretai, including one other group formed by the donor to oversee a proper fund management by the beneficiaries. The checks, totaling 11 million naira, were presented along with the cooperative's uniform to 11 groups at the PDP Secretariat, Udut. Esther Morin reports.
The donor, Prince Aniefio, noted that the gesture was a way of redeeming his campaign promises to open cooperative societies as well as give financial support to women of Nseretai to boost their businesses for economic development of the area.
What I'm going to do is take up open cooperative. Each one I get cooperative gain. The current cooperative, one of the year one, a year cooperative. I can cooperative one.
The women who received financial support were trained on business development by Madam Lucy Epeyon, training on cooperative management by Mrs. Patricia Odofia, business opportunity presentation by a representative of UBA, Mr. Niekan Smart, training on repayment strategies, and training on loan management by Mrs. Mpono Bong Young of Splendid Microfinance Bank.
In accordance with cooperative law and bylaw, members should enjoy equal rights to voting. That is one man, one vote.
Apart from that commitment, a year technical skill.
The executive members of AKBC Multipurpose Cooperative Society, who would foresee the activities of the women throughout the 10 wards of Nseretai, were inaugurated into office with oath-taking administered by Barrister Basi Felix Basi. Checks and certificates as well as cooperatives uniform were presented to the women. Goodwill messages were presented by distinguished supporters of the events, including the paramount ruler of Nseretai, Etiron Peter Okun, while some beneficiaries appreciated the donor, stating their willingness to use the funds to improve their business lots.
Today is the day that my husband has come to fulfill his campaign electionary promises, where he made promise to the women of Nseretai that if they come together to support him to succeed in his last election, that he will empower them each ward. We have a work scheme which we are going to give it out to all the ward leaders. It's a revolving facility. They are going to give it out to these women as a revolving facility.
Esther Umarin, AKBC News.
It was a moment of excitement for pupils of Destiny Hills International Schools, ABAC, at the graduation ceremony and successful end of the 2023-2024 academic session. The celebration, which attracted parents, guardians, friends and lovers of education, held at the school compound, 40 Akbaneno Street, ABAC. Esther Morin completes the report.
The director of the school, Mrs. Rejoice Okorigwe, commended the proprietor of Destiny Hill Schools, Dr. Patrick Udonkang, for establishing the institution. She said pupils in the school are taught hard work and resilience as they pursue their educational aspirations. Mrs. Okorigwe urged the pupils to continue studying hard to become successful persons in the society.
Today is a testament to their commitment and hard work. We have reached a significant milestone in our educational journey, and we are immensely proud of your accomplishment. As you step into the next phase of your lives, remember the values and lessons you have learned.
The event featured pageantry contests, fashion parade where different tribes of the country were showcased, Bible quiz, newscasting, songs and dance by the pupils.
I am here to tell about my tribe, the Yoruba. This cloth I am putting on is called Abada. The shoe I am putting on is called Bata. The cap I am putting on is called Bila.
Oh, wow, don't be
Anangwa. Anangwa.
I'm here standing defender like Joseph. My girl says she want a fix and
on the line and get ready. If you are part of this dance, immediately you are done, grab your tag and join the line.
Of today's speech, retirees like representative people called for unveiling of basis for the incident of force Euro 2024.
Ms. Abasekeme Ukemumo emerged best graduating pupil of the 2023-2024 Basic 5 class. In the pageantry contest, Ms. Deborah Inyang came first and was crowned Miss Destiny Hills 2024, while Ms. Flourish Lovett came second and Master Emediong Isang judged third and was crowned the Pioneer Master, Destiny Hills International Schools. Awards of excellence and certificates were presented to the best graduating students, while gift items were presented to winners and other participants of the recreational activities of the school. The best graduating pupil, Ms. Abasekeme Ukemumo, appreciated parents for investing in their children, while some parents spoke glowingly about Destiny Hills International School, ABAC.
I'm so happy to graduate from primary school to secondary school.
To have a son graduating today is a very great thing to me, and I thank the management of this school for what they have done.
Esther Morin, AKBC News.
Artificial intelligence has been identified as a credible technology that augments human capabilities in achieving a sustainable balanced ecosystem in a world of evolving technology. This was made known by Mr. Hanson Johnson at the 10th Chief O.W. Udo Memorial Lecture of the Akwa Ibom State Chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. This year's Memorial Lecture had the theme, Driving Sustainable Perception Management Through Artificial Intelligence. The lecture coincided with the 2024 Annual General Meeting of the Institute held in Uyo. Again, Esther Morin reports.
Mr. Hansen noted that the evolving landscape of public relations requires the use of artificial intelligence for audience segmentation, crisis management, and predictive analysis only to augment human capabilities but not replace human ingenuity. The chairman on the occasion and member representing Eket Federal Constituency in the National Assembly, Mr. Opolumete, who was represented by Mrs. Ekaite Bongokon, commended fellows of the Akwa Ibom State Chapter of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations for upholding the professional standards of practice for an improved society. He commended the leadership of Elder Manasseh Moete for its all-round commitment in building bridges of communication and mutual understanding among professionals. The state chairman, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Elder Manasseh Moete, noted that the theme of the lecture, Driving Sustainable Perception Management Through Artificial Intelligence, was apt as artificial intelligence has come to stay in this cutting-edge technology era. Goodwill messages were received from the chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Comrade Emosetu, Commissioner for Labor and Manpower, Mr. Sam Uko, who was represented by Mrs. Rosemary Abia. The event featured panel discussion, presentation, recognition of new inductees, and presentation of gift items to distinguished fellows and supporters of the event. Esther Morin, AKBC News.
And back to the national scene, the federal government has announced plans to restock the National Strategic Food Reserve System to address food insecurity as well as stabilize food policies in the country. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Abdullahi, made this known at the unveiling of the 2023 Global Food Policy Report on the theme, Improving Food Systems for Healthy Diet and Nutrition in Nigeria, Policies and Actions. It was organized by the International Food Policy Research Institute and Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. Speaking at the event in Abuja Thursday, Abdullahi stated that the government is working hard to revamp food production, particularly for major staples like rice, maize, and cassava, to arrest the current food situation. He noted that the country's production is not only for local consumption, but also for the West African region. The minister acknowledged that the reserve system was affected by the 2021 floods, but the government is now working to restock it starting from this year's harvest. To end the news, another look at stories that made the headlines. Chinese leader President Xi Jinping has invited President Bola Tinubu to pay a state visit to China in September. China's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs Chen Xiaodong delivered the invitation to President Tinubu at the Aso Villa Thursday. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, made this via his official X handle today. We also told you that the remains of the Deputy Comptroller of the Nigeria Customs, DC Etop Andrew, who collapsed and passed on while presenting a report to the House Committee on Public Accounts at the National Assembly, have been laid to rest. The state's governor, Pastor Omoino, described the demise of the late DC Andrew as a great loss to Akwa Ibom and Nigeria at large. And that's it for 8. There will be more news at 7 a.m. Good night.